Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, and in this short video, I'm going to reflect on what I've learned about my own consumer behavior. By analyzing some of my recent purchases and applying key concepts from Module 3 of Consumer Behavior, I'll explore what influences my buying decisions from my mood and motivation to research and post-purchase reactions. I'll also highlight how marketers could target someone like me. One of the biggest things that I've learned is how much my lifestyle and my self-concept influence the things that I buy. For example, I bought swimsuits from Target and defined workout sets, both which reflect how I see myself or how I want to see myself. I like to think of myself as someone who is active, health conscious, and confident, so I tend to buy products that support that image. This ties into the concept of, self-congruity, where consumers choose brands that align with their ideal self-image. According to one of the studies I found, it was compensatory consumer behavior. This explains how people often purchase to bridge the gap between who they are and who they want to be. So in my case, wellness purchases like creatine or protein just don't serve a physical purpose. They also support my identity. So another huge factor in my consumer behavior is the situation that I'm in. According to what we learned in chapter 13, there are several different types of situational influences like task definition and mood. I saw this with a lot of my purchases. For example, like Red Bull and Chick-fil-A purchases. I wasn't really doing research on these. I was just tired or hungry or in a rush, and so the situation therefore drove the decision. And in contrast, when I was preparing for spring break or my Valentine's Day vacation, my purchases were more deliberate and event driven. Task definition, again, is buying for a specific reason or occasion. So this helped shape my mindset and made me more excited to shop and make these purchases. Module 3 also taught me how different levels of purchase involvement impacts how much effort I put into a decision. For example, like buying energy drinks is super low involvement, and I know what I like, and I just go ahead and grab it off the shelf. But when I bought like a Fossil watch, for example, for my boyfriend's graduation or booked a cruise, I spent days researching it. That was a very high involvement purchase, triggered by a clear problem recognition. I wanted to find the perfect gift or the perfect vacation experience, so I compared prices, brands, and reviews before making those decisions. The research that leads into alternative evaluation and selection, where I use what the book calls evaluative criteria when I was picking out the watch or, my stuffed animal Wormy or even like my duvet cover, I looked at the reviews, the prices, the features, and the quality. I typically follow a compensatory decision rule. So if a product has like strong quality, I'm more willing to overlook the weakness. Like with the Fossil watch, I paid more than I wanted to, but the quality and the meaning of the gift is what made it worth it. This strategy is supported by the study that I have linked below. It was Galinsky's idea that we make purchases not just based on logic, but on how well they meet our emotional and symbolic needs. And then finally, one of the most relatable concepts is the post-purchase decision and satisfaction. I usually feel great after I buy something that I thought through, like, my duvet cover or things that I've done a lot of research on. But with the bigger ticket items like the watch or the cruise, I felt a little bit nervous spending that much money, even though I was super excited about it. So that mix of emotion is what the book describes as cognitive dissonance, when you second guess a decision after the fact. And according to Galinsky's model, in the study, we often justify these purchases by focusing on the positive aspects and reinforcing the decision emotionally. I definitely do that, especially when it's a super meaningful gift or experience. So, in summary, this reflection helps me realize how both internal influences like my mood and motivation and my self concept, and external influences like social media, friends, time constraints shape the way that I make my decisions. My lifestyle as a busy student who values health, convenience, and social connection plays a major role in what I buy and why. So I tend to shop at places that are convenient and familiar, like Amazon, Target, gas stations, but I also use brand websites when I'm looking for something super specific. For bigger, more meaningful purchases like trips or gifts, I definitely take the time to research, compare prices, read reviews, and asking people I trust for their opinions. I often use a compensatory evaluation technique where I weigh the pros and the cons and let the strong factors outweigh the others. From a marketing standpoint, I'm part of a highly engaged, social, and convenience driven target segment. So I respond best to marketing strategies that are visual, authentic, and recommendation based, especially through like TikTok influencers and real customer feedback. The more a brand aligns with myself or how I want to be, the more I am likely to buy it.